Is there any relationship between demographics and economic growth?
Normally you could say a larger amount of people would create more demand and could lead to growth, but it very much depends on the age structure of people. So usually when we have a declining fertility, initially declining fertility, and the number of dependent children in relation to the number of adults is decreasing, and the number of people in their productive ages is increasing, there's a so-called demographic dividend that could be reaped, which means that people have to pay less attention on time and money spent on children, and so a capital stock can be built up, and society and economy can invest more in fixed capital goods or in infrastructure.
Yeah.
Now, this is a window of opportunity that closes when this large generation of people in productive ages reaches retirement age and wants to go into pension. So the question whether a country and a society and the economy can reap the demographic dividend totally depends on the investment climate, the rule of law, also the
educational system,
yeah, and the educational system, the skills available. But China is a good example for such a transition. The Chinese one-child policy has dramatically reduced the number of births in China. And so we have now a fully productive generation of people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who have given birth to much smaller numbers of children than their parents and grandparents. But the big question in China is, will they become rich first, or will they gray first, or become old first? And China has not yet implemented a pension system that would cover the totality of its adult population. So it's still a minority-based system, minority meaning it's aimed at middle-class people living in cities, but the people living on the countryside still are not covered by this system.
So they rely on themselves and their family rather than in Western countries where people are increasingly relying on government.
More than half the world population lives in countries where there is no universal pension or retirement system, so these people have to rely on their own ability to earn money or produce goods and services, and at the same time they have to rely on the help of their children. Extended
families in a traditional sense.
It's a traditional sense, but it can also mean in a post-traditional sense, because in countries like Indonesia or Turkey or Iran, we have seen a fairly dramatic drop in the average number of children that a family has, and many people have moved from rural areas into the big cities. So this is no longer a traditional economy and a traditional family system, but still support is expected from the children towards their parents. Whereas in North America or in Europe, we have just the opposite. Usually parents tend to help their children, even if the children are grown-ups, then the parents start taking care of grandchildren, which alleviates the situation for young parents. And usually parents tend to give money to their offspring, even if the offspring is adult and the parents are retired.